What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast No Plus. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about Microsoft / Xbox, the Series X, Series S, really Xbox in general in 2021. What they need to do, what are our expectations, all that stuff. Yesterday, I talked about PlayStation, I talked about Sony, and I promised this video. I made the bold prediction that people were going to call me Sony fanboys in that video, and we'll see what they say now, because I'm going to say positive things and try to keep an optimistic kind of point of view for Microsoft going into 2021. So we'll see what they say. If you guys want me to do one for Nintendo, I haven't planned on doing it. Tomorrow's video isn't that, but I can definitely do that like early next week if you guys like these kind of videos. So let's talk about it. It's mainly talking about what they need to do in 2021 to be successful. Okay, now Microsoft honestly is different than Sony. I can't just say the exact same things I said yesterday for Sony for Microsoft, because the way they handle things are kind of different. Now I will start with the games, because games are pretty darn important and they are kind of the reason why we buy these consoles. Microsoft, again, it would be a stupid statement to obviously just say that Microsoft needs games in 2021. Everybody knows that, right? And I do think, just like a lot of people think, that is finally happening. That with Bethesda, with the initiative that's making the perfect Dark game, with Halo Infinite set to actually release, right? These are things that can be successful and can definitely help Xbox. So, you look at the exclusives, and that is something that they're still lacking. I mean, there's no denying it. So when we talk about what they need to do in 2021, this needs to be I would call it a transition year, and I would only call it that because 2020 was pretty much nothing. There was literally, of note, in terms of, there was like Grounded, stuff like that, which some, groups of the internet kind of fell in love with, but in reality, 2020 was a very, very weak year for Xbox exclusive. There was pretty much none of them. You look at even, I'm not saying, I don't put a lot of stock into like the Game Awards, like Jeff, and like in terms of nominees and stuff like that, but you look at that, Sony was represented very well. Even Nintendo was represented very well. Microsoft wasn't represented at all. And it's because they didn't have anything. And that's not unfair to say. That's not because we'll get, by the way, to Microsoft's strengths in a second, which we just have to say they have to continue, right? But for their weaknesses, which is the game part, this is that transition year. You have the game The Medium, which to me was the most exciting game at launch. It was the only game, but it was a very exciting game at launch for Series X and S that I wanted. Now, and it wasn't enough on its own to get me it. And by the way, it may sound confusing to you because, by the way, the game was delayed. The game comes out at the end of January now, which I'm still excited for it. I think I'm going to get it for PC because my computer, I found out through the Back for Blood alpha that my computer can actually handle games, so that's good to know. I'll be able to play The Medium on there. I am going to get, by the way, I should say this, I don't have a Series S or X, okay? I'm going to get one. I'm most likely going to get one for Halo, like right before it. So when they announce, if Halo comes out October 12th, I will get the system maybe for my birthday. My birthday's late June. Maybe I'll get it over the summer. Maybe I'll get it like in September. But I will have it, I would say, for Halo. That's kind of the internal thing that I'm planning. A game like The Medium, I don't know, it's just not enough to me to get an Xbox, right? Just for that game. So, and because again, I've proven, my computer has proven it can handle it. So why would I get an Xbox, at least right now? When I have a PlayStation, I'll play third-party games on that. But that's the thing. They need, because the more games they put out, you put out Halo, you put out Avowed, you put out Everwild, right? That's a really good game. I think that's the name of the game, at least I really, really hope it is. There's some really amazing games that they have, assumingly in the works. Even if you just look at Bethesda, you have Starfield or Elder Scrolls, and if these games only come out on Xbox and on PC, I'm going to have to get an Xbox, right? And it's not just me, people in general are going to have to get Xboxes. So, again, like the reason I call it a transition year is for all intents and purposes, really the only games coming to Xbox this upcoming year, or the year we're in right now, right? Because I think officially we're in 2021, is The Medium and it's Halo Infinite. And we don't even know the date for Halo Infinite, okay? Now, sure, there could be things in between, but those are like the two big guns. Now, again, like 2020, I think it's kind of the thing. 2022 seemingly is the year. Maybe that's the year we get Avowed. Maybe that's the year we get Perfect Dark. Maybe that's the year we get Fable, okay? And that is, by the way, that would be an enormous year. You have a year that you get 4, 5, 6 big Xbox exclusives. That's going to be a big year. Okay, Sony's managed to do that kind of yearly, which is, good for them, but obviously we're talking about Xbox here, so Microsoft kind of needs to match that, right? So that's why I call this a transition year. Last year we really had nothing. 2022, seemingly, we're going to have a lot more. 2021 is kind of that in-between year. So that's one of the biggest, I would say, the biggest thing in terms of their weaknesses that they have to improve upon. The next thing, and really actually the only other thing I can think of in terms of really just keeping it the same, is Games Pass. There's Game Pass. So I always say games. I don't don't know why I do that, but Game Pass. I have an Xbox One S, I believe is the Xbox I have. Sometimes I forget what model it is, but no, I enjoy it. I don't have Game Pass on it just because I really don't go on it almost ever. But I'll turn it on here and there. My wife will sometimes play like Left 4 Dead 2, Left 4 Dead 1 through backwards compatibility. So while I don't have it, I know from the internet how amazing of a deal it is, right? I mean, there's no denying the price you pay versus what you get is not even fair. And even, you look at, what I was talking about, like the Medium or Halo Infinite. I mean, they've talked about all of their exclusives are going to be on Game Pass. And while I still don't fully understand how they make their money back from something like that, I mean, it's an amazing deal. Why would you spend $60 or $70 on Halo Infinite when you can get Game Pass? Even if you only get Game Pass for 1 month, you pay what, $15? Is that the price? However the price is, or you do a free month trial or whatever. You play it. You could even stop it after that month, and you could just be done with it. And you played it for $15 versus $60, and that's just one game. And obviously they have 100 games, 100 plus games throughout like all of time and stuff like that. And it's all of their exclusives that are going to be in it. So it's such. You have EA, you have the Ubisoft most likely is going to be entering it as well. I mean, all of these things, all these benefits for having Game Pass, it's scary how good it is. It's terrifying because they keep adding more and more and more and kind of keeping the value the same. That again, it's like, how do they afford to pay off all the developments for these games? How do they afford to pay EA to make EA Play worth it? To put it on games, but like how much that costs is, we don't know. We don't actually know those numbers, but it's insane how they managed to pull it off. But that's really the biggest thing. I mean, their biggest weakness is games. I mean, flat out, they give so many games out through Game Pass, but the issue is people really still don't buy their consoles, and that's a big thing. And maybe it's because the PC. If you have a computer, you can play all these games through Game Pass on PC and be fine. You don't need, and same thing really for me. It's a tough thing. I'll tell you one very quick story. My goal for 2021 is to build a very high-end computer, okay? Like one of the high, like I'm going to be spending several thousands and thousands of dollars, okay? But I do want that. I want it for editing. I feel like as you get higher in YouTube, now obviously this channel is smaller, but like my main channel is a lot bigger. As you get higher, what YouTuber that is in the hundreds of thousands of subscribers that you know of that doesn't kind of have a setup, you know what I mean? So I'm going to be building, that's my plan for 2021 is to build like a higher-end PC, have the monitors, have the desk set up, all that stuff. In fact, I'm actually getting a desk very, very soon, just to kind of just to have it and have it there for when I get the other stuff, okay? So even for that, it's like, well, do I need the Series X or Series S? Because like if I can build the computer and have it ready before Halo is out, why would I buy an Xbox? Because I will just play it on PC and I'll still do Game Pass. You know what I mean? So even with me, it is kind of conflicting. I want an Xbox. I feel like the way I cover games and talk about games, it would kind of be wrong of me to not have one. But at the same time, if I have a very high-end PC, I don't need an Xbox. And that, right there, and I kind of just talked myself into that. That truly is an issue, I think, with lots of people in the world. Now, not everybody can build a $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 PC. You know what I mean? And in fact, I can't. It's going to take me quite a while to do so, okay? But if you have a PC, you kind of have an Xbox, and they've done that on purpose. And I get the reason, and they're making loads of money from it, right? I understand it, but the issue is that I think creeps up on people of why they don't get the Xbox, because people play their games. Like Halo Infinite will be successful, but like, will it sell loads of Xboxes? I don't know. Xbox Series X and S did not do very well. I mean, it did. They sold well at launch, but they didn't sell even remotely close to PlayStation. And I'm not saying it's a console war, but like, it's not a good start. And we thought it was a lot of a closer race than seemingly it was. So, you got to focus on the games. You got to give us the games. You got to keep Game Pass the way it is. And ultimately, again, if their model, and Phil Spencer's even said this, where like if they truly don't need us to get any Xbox console, just get Game Pass, pretty much. Just buy Game Pass. Don't get our console, get Game Pass. If that's their model, which I have some problems with how you say that out loud, which he has said it almost exactly like that. I have problems with that, but if that's their model, go for it, because it's worked. It's making them money. They're doing very well. They had a pretty good 2020. I think they'll have an even better 2021. I think they'll have a killer 2022. Okay, so let me know, guys, in the comments below, what do you think? What does Microsoft, what does Xbox need to do for you guys in terms of games, in terms of maybe like customer support, communication, stuff like that? What do they need to do to make 2021 good? Let me know. As always, make sure you guys are subscribed to this channel. Hit the bell icon so you guys know when all these videos go up. Again, I've actually I literally thought of both these ideas, the PlayStation, Xbox One, in like 5 seconds. I don't know why I didn't do it sooner, but I loved making these two videos. So if you guys want me to do it with Nintendo, I'd love to do that, and we'll just go from there, okay? Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all on tomorrow's video.